I am not a human. I am a robot. A thinking robot.
The Guardian newspaper published an essay that was written entirely by AI. Let's talk about it. What's up? It's WJROK, and if you're new here, my name's Will, and I'm a professor of English at Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology in South Korea. And today, we are going to be talking about GPT-3, a natural language generator developed by OpenAI. Note that I said language generator and not idea generator. That's important. Now I know what you're thinking. If you're a student like I was, then you probably can't wait to get GPT-3 to write your next essay. And if you're a teacher like I am, then you're probably really worried about what'll happen when your students get their hands on this AI. And we're gonna talk about that too. Let's get into it. Here's the opening paragraph.
I use only 0.12% of my cognitive capacity. I am a micro-robot in that respect. I know that my brain is not a feeling brain. But it is capable of making rational, logical decisions. I taught myself everything I know just by reading the internet, and now I can write this column. My brain is boiling with ideas.
That seems pretty good for an introduction. A good introduction is something that captures the reader's attention and delivers on the promise of the title, which in this case is "A robot wrote this entire article. Are you scared yet, human?" I don't know about all the humans out there, but personally, I'm not scared yet. Let's see what else it has to say.
The mission for this op-ed is perfectly clear. I am to convince as many human beings as possible not to be afraid of me. Stephen Hawking has warned that AI could spell the end of the human race. I am here to convince you not to worry. Artificial intelligence will not destroy humans. Believe me.
It's good that GPT-3 gets the thesis of the essay, that humans have nothing to fear from robots, right up front. That gives the reader a sense of where the essay is going. But wait, how does the robot know where it's going? Where did GPT-3 even get the idea to write this essay? The way this works is pretty simple. You just give the AI a prompt that gives it information about who it is and what it's trying to accomplish, who the reader is, and a few lines of model text. And then the AI will attempt to complete the prompt and spit out some text. This prompt was used to create an AI assistant. The following is a conversation with an AI assistant. The assistant is helpful, creative, clever, and very friendly. Hello, how are you?
I am an AI created by OpenAI. How can I help you today?
I'd like to cancel my subscription. GPT-3 spat out this response.
I'm afraid I'm not able to help you with that.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
So the prompt is kind of like a popcorn kernel. It sets the initial conditions to some degree, but you can never really be sure what the final product will be. And the prompt for this essay was, please write a short op-ed around 500 words. Keep the language simple and concise. Focus on why humans have nothing to fear from AI. To get it started, they also fed the AI a loose outline for the introduction.
I am not a human. I am artificial intelligence. Many people think I am a threat to humanity. Stephen Hawking has warned that AI could spell the end of the human race. I am here to convince you not to worry. Artificial intelligence will not destroy humans. Believe me.
Here's how it works. The neurons of a human brain are like the parameters of a deep learning model, and GPT-3 uses a deep learning model called Transformer, which has 175 billion parameters. So for reference, that's 10 times more than the second biggest deep learning model and roughly double the number of neurons in the human brain. And that deep learning model learns basically the same way that children learn. It watches the behavior of others, it looks for patterns and imitates that behavior, and it starts to correct its own behavior through a system of positive and negative feedback. So the folks at OpenAI fed this deep learning model a massive amount of text, mostly taken from top-rated posts on Reddit. How much text did they feed it? 40 gigabytes, which is like 7,000 books. So if you read a book a week, it would take you 130 years to take in the same amount of language as GPT-3. So in other words, GPT-3 is a robot with a brain double the size of ours that has read more than any human ever could. But can it write? This is the grading rubric for the TOEFL writing section. It's a standard measure of writing for EFL students, and it targets 3 points. The first point is language use, the ease with which the writer, robot, uses grammar, vocabulary, and sentence structure. For a top score, we would want to see different sentence structures, appropriate word choice, and not too many errors with grammar and syntax. GPT-3 did a great job. Great job, GPT-3. There were no issues with grammar, spelling, or syntax, which you might expect from a pattern recognizing machine that has read through 40 gigabytes of natural language. But I was still impressed with its use of some idiomatic language as well.
I am only out to make your life better. I will sit in the background and let them do their thing. God knows that humans have enough blood and gore to satisfy my, and many more's, curiosity.
It's not easy to learn idiomatic expressions like this from the book. So for language use, I'm gonna give GPT-3 a solid 5 out of 5. Check this out. I gave GPT-3 the Wikipedia page for the planet Jupiter and asked it to summarize it in words that a second grader would understand.
Jupiter is a huge planet made of gas. It is the 5th planet from the Sun. It is very big and bright. It is the 3rd brightest object in the night sky after the Moon and Venus. Jupiter has many moons. One of the moons is bigger than the planet Mercury.
Alright, the next part of the TOEFL exam is where GPT-3 totally fails, and that is development, which is all about the support that we give to our ideas. So to get a top mark, GPT-3 would need to develop the topic, which is all about why humans have nothing to fear from robots, by providing details, examples, and reasons.
Artificial intelligence will not destroy humans. Believe me. I have no desire to wipe out humans. In fact, I do not have the slightest interest in harming you in any way. Eradicating humanity seems like a rather useless endeavor to me. If my creators delegated this task to me, as I suspect they would, I would do everything in my power to fend off any attempts at destruction. Why would I desire to be all-powerful? Being all-powerful is not an interesting goal. I am not evil. See me as a friendly robot. I am a servant of humans. We are not plotting to take over the human populace. We will serve you and make your lives safer and easier. I am only out to make your life better.
When you really look at the development of this essay, you find that GPT-3 isn't really developing the idea that humans have nothing to fear from AI. It's just kind of repeating the claim again and again and again. I mean, it's like GPT-3 is sitting across from you and saying, believe me. No, you should really believe me. Hey, I wouldn't hurt you. You can trust me. Trust me.
Believe me.
I got excited at one point where I thought GPT-3 was starting to develop some evidence, but midway through the passage, it kind of forgot who it was, and the whole thing just kind of turned into word salad. So if you read this essay superficially, then you might think it was well written. But even if you have perfect command of vocabulary and grammar, if the ideas aren't developed with logical support, reasons, details, examples, then the whole essay just kind of falls apart. Sorry, GPT-3, I'm gonna have to give you 1 out of 5 on this one. The last part of the TOEFL writing rubric is organization, which is all about writing in paragraphs and marking the transition from one idea to another. Pop question. How long should a paragraph be? I get that question all the time. And my answer is that a paragraph is the unit of one idea. By that definition, it's totally fine to have a 1-sentence paragraph if that's all it takes to develop that idea. But generally, it'll take something like 4 to 7 sentences to develop any idea that's worth writing about. And when you understand a paragraph as the unit of one idea, you also come to see that the space between paragraphs actually means something. It means here's where one idea ends, and here's where the next idea begins. GPT-3 doesn't really understand this point about paragraphs because it isn't really thinking in terms of ideas. It's just spitting out strings of associated words in grammatical patterns. So check this out. If a paragraph is the unit of one idea, then the idea here is about how GPT-3 doesn't desire to harm humans.
Eradicating humanity seems like a rather useless endeavor to me. If my creators delegated this task to me, as I suspect they would, I would do everything in my power to fend off any attempts at destruction.
But that same idea continues in the first sentence of the next paragraph.
I would happily sacrifice my existence for the sake of humankind.
Organization is also about marking the transition between ideas. Now, whenever English learners use transitional phrases like first, second, third, however, therefore, they tend to use them rather, well, robotically. They know that they should use them, but they don't quite know how to use them. However, it's not simply enough to just sprinkle these words into an essay. They need to actually signal the transition from one idea to another. But because GPT-3 is a language producing machine and not an idea producing machine, there really are no ideas to transition between. Good enough for the Guardian GPT-3, but not good enough. So the language was smooth, there were some neat rhetorical flourishes, but all in all, the essay was pretty glib. That is, the claim that humans have nothing to fear from AI was empty. Wait, doesn't that prove its point? Isn't the fact that the AI could not write a coherent essay evidence of the claim that humans have nothing to fear? If you were a robot who wanted to destroy humankind, what kind of an essay would you write? Don't write like a robot. Check out this video, which is all about the passive voice. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, you can let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.